Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always, huge massive thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. So just coming back in with another one of these Crafty stash pads. This one was called, or is called, Peacock Paradise. It's still available at Hunkydory. I don't think it's in the sale at the moment though. But I've picked out just a few bits. As I did say before, this did come to me as part of the design team, so I don't have it all neatly packaged up like you guys would have done if you had purchased it. But I've just picked out these papers and insert, and this is what I'm going to be playing with today. So let's just pop that to the side and jump straight into my first card. Let me bring in the trimmer, and I'm going to bring in 2 pieces of 300 GSM white cardstock. I'm going to take the first piece and I'm going to cut this to 9 inches. It's 9 by 6. Obviously that goes into the bit box. And then this one I'm going to cut down. If you've got some smaller cardstock, some pieces that you've cut off, or you've got some in your bit box, that's going to be perfect. But I'm going to cut this down to 8 by 4. Okay. And those are going to be the pieces for our card. Let's pop that to the side for a second. And we're going to bring in the scoreboard. And this little piece that's 8 by 4, we're just going to score at 4 to make ourselves a little mini card like so. And then this one with the 9 inches along the top, we're going to score at 3 inches. So it's going to make us a 6 by 6 card with a fold back. So I'm just going to go ahead and burnish these down. And same with that one, just make sure it's nice and straight. And these are going to be the main components of a card. So what's going to happen is, obviously we're going to decorate it up. That's going to go onto there like so. So we'll have that inside of the card as well. Okay, and it kind of interlocks. So we've got 2 cards in effect to decorate, and on this one there's quite a lot of space as well because we've got the back and the side. So the beautiful thing about this Peacock garden pad is that it is silver foil. So Peacock Paradise, sorry, it is silver foil, so good excuse to use all of our silver up. But I'm using the A4 in the mirror. I'm just going to cut my first piece to 2 notches, or 1/8 of an inch under the 6, and that's going to be the piece that goes into the back. And then we want another piece that's going to be 2 notches under the 6 and 2 notches under the 3. And that's going to be our piece that goes onto the side. And then we want a piece that's going to go 2 notches under the 4 by 2 notches under the 4. Now, depending on how you want to, so that goes on there, how you want to layer up on the inside, you may want another piece. And I think what I'm going to do is just grab a piece from one of my bits here, and I'm just going to cut another piece that's going to be 2 notches under the 4. You could get away with just popping in the insert on the inside plain, but it's up to you. But I'm going to mat and layer it just for effect. So those are those pieces there. Then we're going to come to the actual papers. I've chosen, no, I haven't chosen that one. I've chosen those 2. Let's bring that out as well. So this paper matches the pattern on here, so that's why I've chosen that one. And then I've picked up the pink from the frame as well. So I'm going to do this piece as my main background. So this needs to be 5 3/4 square. So 5 3/4. Obviously all of these bits go back into my pack. So that's going to go to there. And then this piece here is going to be 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. Actually, let's cut it that way. Let's take a little bit off the inside. It just looks like there's a shadow at the top where the glue should have been. Like I say, my pads all come unassembled because that's the way they come on the design team. So that's my piece to go on there. Now to go onto here, instead of using some of the paper, what I decided to do was bring in some adorable scoreable. You're really not going to see a lot of this because that topper does cover most of it, but I just wanted something on those corners. No, we don't want 6. We want 3 3/4 square. Like so. And then that is going to go onto my front. So I picked the sort of teal to match in with these colours here and really make the topper stand out. And then for sentiment, this is from the insert sheet where you've got the 4 inserts on a page, and the topper I'm using has got some pink in it. So I'm going to pop this down and probably might need to neaten this up with my guillotine. I'm going to cut it along the bottom edge there because it does seem like that is a natural place to go. And this needs to be 3 3/4. Let's get the guillotine. I'm just going to take another little bit off that edge, but it's just such a fine edge. I don't want it to fray too much. Let's just take that and neaten that up. There we go. And then 3 3/4 because this is going inside that little mini card. There we go. So those should be all of our pieces, so we can now decorate and then see how we want our topper to go. So let's start with some glues. So the glues I'm using, the usual ones, Cloud All Purpose, Cloud Tacky. On a lot of the papers I'm going to be using the dotty tape pen. I'm probably going to bring in the purple glue stick as well. But when I'm going onto the cardstock, I'm going to be using these lovely wet glues. Apologies if you do catch my reflection in this mirror card. I am having a bad hair day. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but that's just the way it is today. It's Saturday, it's the weekend, I'm not going anywhere. I really don't care. Okay, so again, with these being the papers, and this has got decoupage on the back. That's the beautiful thing about these Crafty stash pads, is that it's just a whole heap of crafting in one. There's decoupage, there is toppers, papers, inserts. A little treasure trove of crafting goodies. So I'm going to put that down that way. I kind of feel like the feathers are going there. And then we can pop this piece on. And onto here. Like so. Again, dots in the corner rather than the tacky glue. And in. should I say. Oh, it's looking like it's, just take that off. That is right. It is quite close to that end though. Now, what do I want to do? Okay, what I'm going to do, just because it is, this must be slightly smaller, and I think it might be because it was just that end part. So if I just smudge down this all-purpose glue, which will dry it out. Now, those dots will still be sticky. I'm just going to bring in my guillotine. And the amount of times I get little bits of sticky under here is unreal. But what I'm going to do is just take about a notch off the bottom, just a little bit. So those dots are still fine, just needs another little bit of all-purpose. And we'll just try that again. So I should have checked it because I knew I was using that end piece, and it does tend to be just that tiny bit smaller, but that's going to be fine. I'm happy with that. Okay, then for this piece, what I'm going to do is I am not going to use a red liner tape. I'm going to use my white glues. It's going to be easier for me to maneuver this into position. Now, you can decorate it if you want to beforehand. It's up to you. I'm not going to. I'm going to decorate it once it's in situ. But what we want is we want that to be around about halfway point. So all of these glues are going to allow me just to make sure that is where I want that to be, and I think that is good. Now, ideally I would leave this 5 or 10 minutes just to settle down, but I'm just going to carry on and hope for the best. We'll hope it doesn't move like it did the other time. Check, sorry, again that's going to catch me in it. There we go. And this is cardstock. You could put a lovely embossing folder pattern on this if you wanted to, the dots. If you've got any of the embossing folders through the magazines, there's a lovely one with dots on that's not, got little circular patterns of dots, which is really pretty. I haven't got it to hand, so no, I can't tell you what the name of it is. I've got a feeling it's like dotty dots or something like that, but don't quote me on that. Okay, so that's that piece there, and then again just adding in. Now I'm going to be just tucking this card underneath a little sentiment. If you wanted it to be a sort of tie with a ribbon enclosure, what you could do is glue some ribbon underneath this topper, glue some ribbon underneath here, coming this way, and then it would tie across there. But I'm going to use a sentiment to just pop it under for this one, and that does tend to be my preferred way of doing these, but like I say, you can use that ribbon if you wanted to. The other thing you could use, if you've got any of the little magnetic closures, you could do it with that as well. Okay, so let's just pop that beautiful little insert inside. So now it's a normal card. You can write your message at the top. You won't get much room, but you have got some. So let's pop that over and that over there. Let's bring in the toppers, which is these beautiful hexagon ones, or yeah, I think they are hexagons. So my thinking was to have this one coming on here. Like I say, I did say that a lot of it, or some of it, would be covered over. I think maybe having that one up there this one down here. So I'm going to have 2 on there, and they will help that slide just under. So they will come over a bit, and then that will just tuck under with our topper on. Checking that it's not moved. I think it might have moved just a smidge. There we go, it's gone back. Okay, so I think that's all we need from that one, so let's pop that out of the way. Now this has got an outer, a beautiful, very delicate inner. So just going to use my nail to pop that away. So we will get that beautiful teal coming through. And then, like I say, if you wanted to emboss that, that would be beautiful. Let's get that one out of the way there. And I'm just going to go very low with these. So I'm going 1mm with the frame, and I'm going flat with the sentiment. No, not the sentiment. The topper itself. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want the height to be in those sentiments, and I want to make it easy to pop this behind, because I've done this card here almost exactly to the size of this topper, and that was a choice. You might want to go a little bigger if you want to, but I kind of went for the 4x4 because of the insert being 4x4 as well. Although you could always mat and layer that onto maybe some more of the teal, and then mat and layer the insert on top. But I didn't want to create too much heft in the cardstock, too much height. Let's pop all of these off. And round. Okay, and we'll use some purple glue stick. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get it in the right place. Not much room for error on this little card, but let's just make sure we are happy. Yep. And then, like I said, with this one, I'm just going nice and flat on the inside. So a little bit of tacky glue, no all-purpose glue, and then we can pop that in. And that's going to be fine. Now these here, because they are going to be holding on to these toppers, keeping this card popped in, I'm using 2mm on here. Now I think what I need to be is just very slightly so that this can pop under. So let me just make sure, and then it needs to go under again. It's been a while since I made one of these cards, to be honest with you. Yeah, so it needs to be just really on the very tip. So I'm going to pop that one up there, and then this one is going to be exactly the same, just barely on it. Come down a little, I think, maybe about there, and then those will slide under. Just gently arc it under. Okay, like I say, you could go with the ribbon if you prefer. Now what I am going to do is just pop another foam pad under there. Actually, I've got a smaller one here. And what I tend to do, if I want to just pop one under when a card is a topper's in situ, is I take all of the stickies off, grab my trimmers, my reverse tweezers, and then just pop that under. And that means that I get it where I want it to be. But there we go. So that, like I say, it does get smoother the more you do it, because the more that card gets used to bending that way a little. Oops, that's moving. I can see that's could do with just going over a little. Let's see if that's going to let me do it. Yeah, that's moved over just a little bit. Annoying, but it's because I'm doing the video. You'll give it a little bit more time and just double check, but that is just slightly not as neat as I would have liked. I might cover it up with a sentiment or a something in a minute, but let me bring in the gems. And I'm going to go with these lovely deep purple ones, because we have got those purple tones. And then pop 3 there. Going to pop them 1 there, and then I'm going to go with 1 up there. That's going to be my 5. Okay, so I decided to go with this one from the Essential Little Book of Sentiments. It's best sister in the world. It's going to come over most of this, so 2mm again. And we're just going to pop that over the top. Hopefully that shouldn't affect the opening. Oh, it might do. Let's move it over just a little bit. Oh, it's just going to be one of those days. Yep, we're there. And that, finally, apologies, it's not as smooth as I would have liked, but I make the errors so you can just be aware of them. But that is going to be a card number 1. That little crossover fold. It has got a name which does escape me at this very minute, but I will find it for when I pop it up on Pinterest. But that's card number 1, and I'm just going to get set up for card number 2. Okay, so for card number 2, just bringing in another piece of that 300 GSM white cardstock, and I'm going to score at 4. And then because I've got the smaller board, I'm going to turn that around and score at 2 and at 4. If you were doing it on the big board, you would do 4, 8 and 10, I believe. Yeah, 4, 8 and 10. And that's going to give you this cute little stepper. So we're just going to Mountain and Valley, and you're going to have this sort of card face, which is kind of a bit like a W or an M. There we go. So that is our card base. So let's bring in my trimmer. I'm going to bring in some more silver mirri. So this back piece is 4 by 6. So I'm going to take 2 notches or 1/8 of an inch off the 4, and then again that's going to be the same 2 notches or 1/8 of an inch off the 6, and then 2 notches under the 2 by 2 notches under the 6. That's going to be that piece there. I'm going to bring back in some of that beautiful pink, which is my favourite cardstock out of this one. Thinking that's not going to be 6, no. So we're going to go 1 3/4. So this is going to be on the front, just because it's my favourite. And that's going to be by 5 3/4. So 1 3/4 by 5 3/4. And then picking up on the cardstock, which is on the back here, I've got the matching paper and I want those going downwards, so I'm just going to rotate that around and just turn it that way, just so I want 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and that's going to be our piece that goes into the back on there. Now what I want to do as well is also just grab a piece. This is the one of the empty pieces of the cardstock, and I want to just take a piece of this to make a nice little border. So I think that's going to be just 2 notches under 1/2 inch. It's like waste not, want not. And I will cut a little bit of silver. Again, that's going to be 5 3/4, just to bring that pattern back into the front. So this piece needs to be 1/2 inch, just to mat that back onto the silver. This is just for decoration, not for anything else. Okay, so that should fit quite nicely onto there, edge to edge. That's going to give us that pattern back in. So let's go ahead and pop these on. Try to keep all of our edges nice and straight on this one. I've been really, I just go through spells, and I don't know whether it's making the video or whether it's me like coming out of being poorly, because I really was quite poorly. Some of my matte and layers haven't been where I want them to be. I think we all go through stages like that, really, to be fair though. But I mean, the good thing is, you know, this is really just for ideas, you know, sort of inspiration. You may want to copy it, you may want to take it further, you may want to use one of the other Crafty stash pads. You might have the Easter one. I have got the Easter one, which I was sent as part of the design team, but I'm not going to do anything with it because it's not available anymore. So I kind of feel like that would be a bit unfair. It may be available through third parties, you know, people selling it on eBay, or there may be a few stores that bought it that may still have. But if it's not easy to buy, if you know, if you do like these, I mean, I know over the year I've had people coming in and saying that they're new to Hunkydory, so you know, I don't want to make it difficult for people, really. That's the truth of it. And the fun thing about working through all of these kits that we got at the beginning of the year is that a lot of these add-ons that have happened over the year, you know, like the books of shaped sentiments, you've got the, just going to use tacky glue on this piece rather than the all-purpose, just a lot of, you know, the add-ons like the bigger book of letters, bigger shaped sentiments, all of those little add-ons, you know, the duo design pads. You might want to swap out some of the papers for something from there. You know, there are so many things that have happened during the year. It's really quite fun to go back. So I'm just faffing about that, making sure that's nice and straight. Okay, so I'm not going to glue that on yet because I want to bring it in my toppers, and I am bringing in this beautiful one, which is, I'm thinking of going at the back. This one is going to go at the front. I want that one at the back, and then I was going to bring in, like I say, so obviously this is going to go across here somewhere, like so. This is the layout, and then I wanted either a from me to you in the pink, or we could go with teal. We could go big thank you, although it says hope your day blooms with joy, so I'm thinking more birthday. Let's have a little look. So I'm looking for something that's going to fit in that spot there. Many happy returns. Birthday blessings. How about make a wish in that teal again? Because I do feel like it's got these teal colours running through it. Maybe we can have that coming over the top. Like so. Yeah, I think that's where we're going to be. And then a couple of gems. And that will be it. So that's the plan. So if you want to, like Rebecca did, she takes photos on her phone and then adds them in. I'm just going to trust myself. If things change a little bit, I'm not going to cry about it. So I want this obviously to go in a 6x6 envelope. So I need to make sure that I stay within that sort of footprint. So I'm going to use some tacky glue. I'm going flat on this one. Just pop some tacky glue around 3/4 of the way, and then we can pop that on. If I fold that up, I can just try and make sure I've got that nice and straight. It's going to be difficult to work out if it is straight or not, but I think we're going to be about there. Let me just pop that in. Yeah, I think we're going to be there. Now, because this topper fits so neatly inside there, I'm not even going to try and work out where the foam pads go. I'm going to bring in some 2mm foam pads, and I'm just going to pop them on the inside. Maybe one more just near that top. This probably will have a little bit of heft to it, so I would say either an envelope with a bit of give or one of the card boxes from Hunkydory. They do a 6x6 one. And then this just slots rather neatly on top. We've got that tacky glue just to help us move that into position. I do prefer the purple glue stick, to be honest, but I don't like putting it near my project. But that is quite neatly on there. And then this one, do I want to do the same with this? Maybe have that flat and then that coming up again. I think I will. So again, a little bit of tacky glue. You could use your all-purpose, whichever you prefer, and we can go anywhere we like on this one. Just want it to be pretty much straight. Let's come over just a little. The hard thing on these is just making sure that these toppers are a little bit straight. But I'm just going to use my right angle ruler. I'm just going to pop that on the edge, and hopefully that will just help us. And then again, I'm not going to try and work out where those foam pads need to go. I'm going to pop them straight on. I might just bring in one smaller one there, just because it's such a small area to stick a topper onto. Oh, I've forgotten to put my border on. Never mind. Maybe I won't use it. Maybe I'll bring it in at the bottom. Maybe that's destiny not to use it, but I'll keep it in the pack if I don't, because yeah, I'm going to leave that. I'll put that in the pack. I will use it on another card. I just totally forgot, and maybe that will fit nicer on there now. Yeah, there we go. See, these things happen for a reason. I'm going to go with 1mm foam pads on this one, because this is just going onto the back. It's not the main focus of the card, it's just an added little extra. And that's going to go into, maybe we'll cross that over a little because it's flat, we can. And then this one I am going to use 2mm foam pads. I feel like this card's been really quick. That one onto there. Maybe that's a benefit because the other one was quite involved. And there we go. So yeah, that did work out a lot better, didn't it? Having that clear space there. Now, have I got any sort of teal? No, we'll have to go pink. Well, we have got a touch of green in there. So I think maybe we'll go with this green. Just bring that green in. So I'm going to pop 2 there. And I'm going to pop another large one just there. And I think it's difficult to get those sentiments straight because they're not straight ones. I think that looks better. I think I'm going to call it a day there. Yeah, really like that card. But that is a card number 2, that little stepper. Because you do get lots of smaller toppers, it is perfect for smaller cards, and you can really layer them up. So you can see that one looks quite cute. But there, we'll bring back in card number 1. Not as happy with card number 1, mainly because of that layering. But I think it does look nice on screen anyway. But that is it for today, and this Peacock Peacock Paradise Crafty stash pad. Not sure what I'm coming back with next time. There are quite a few kits. I have got the bookmark topper kit, but I'm not sure if I want to play with that yet. I want to come up with some sort of different ideas to what they had on. I didn't want to be too obvious with them. So at some point I'm going to bring that to you. But you know, that will be that. Just wanted to bring in something else I've been playing with. These are what I'm slightly obsessed with, and it's not card making. I picked up a kit on Temu with the gems that I just bought, and it's these fluffy pipe cleaners, and it comes with the nose and the bows and things on this one. This one didn't come with a bow. And then I just used a little bit of Adorable Scoreable for the tongues, and you can fluff them up more. I haven't fluffed it up enough, but I'm super obsessed with these, and they're just furry pipe cleaners, and they stand, and you can pose them, you know, you can have them sat down. Oh, they're just too cute, and I'm just really, I just thought I'd show you, because on the thing you always think it, when you see them on Temu, you always think, oh, maybe it's not as good as it looks, or it's not as easy as it looks, but it was super easy. It's just a couple of bends, but yeah, they're super cute. If you're looking for a craft for, you know, somebody, I'd say 6 or upwards, it's super cute. And you can make rabbits as well, depending on how. I did a small stubby tail on that one. I want him standing, and I have to tell you, Henry really wants to steal these because he thinks they have a squeaker in, and they do not. But that's it. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Take care. Happy crafting. Bye.